decided to die for some reason now. Not sure why. So yeah, I guess
That's
that's a
a
bug.
great sign of things to
Something.
come. Hi, my goal with this is to make a quick 5-minute vlog. What you're going to get out of this, I hope I'm recorded. What you're going to get out of this is we're going to be talking about scatter and making and designing, instead of using the ping files, making and designing grass that you can have like even more grass than with the current ping version. At least that's at least my understanding of it. At this point, if you haven't seen any of the stuff I haven't posted yet, because I haven't posted yet, I'm trying to keep this short. Alex is here with me. He's going to take a look at my grass, give me some thoughts, and then he's going to explain why he's designing more optimized grass. Now, what I have here is basically what Alex requested. I got rid of the triangles or the geometry. I kept it flat because every time I make something flat, it turns invisible. So now I've got it down here. I wanted to just keep a little bit of variance, so I put a bottom on the mid grass, and the other two grasses are relatively small. Now, the other thing too that Alex had kind of mentioned was bend it a little, to which I have. Now I can actually bend this other grass down, but if I put the scatter stuff up or intersplice it or edit it in, you'll see that scatter has a shader, and that shader animates the blade of grass. But again, the only thing, just to reiterate this, is it uses ping files or transparent ping files, and that is not the most optimized way. All right, Alex, tell me why this is horrible.
Well, now that I'm looking at it, it's not actually that horrible, except so let's go through things that just come off the top of my mind. First is you have 3 blades of grass. Now, this actually might be better or it might be worse from a performance perspective, but I don't know how much it is of either, so screw it. Let's stick with, I guess, 3 blades of grass. Um, that
Well,
said,
I was just copying the scatter thing. Like I
yes,
saw their
exactly. But
plot.
one thing that I just realized is that um, I mean, when talking about grass, yeah, I guess grass does tend to, um, bunch up in how should I call this, into several grass. What does grass have? What are these lines the grass has? Not
Oh, you mean the
lines.
middle?
No, I mean like stem. What's the name for a single blade of grass? Yeah, blades.
It,
So
it's a blade.
that is a very particular blade design, and I'm thinking that maybe if we go actually with 2 or something, it might be, how should I put it? It might look more natural when close up. So what I would suggest is 2 things about the graph that you made. First, grass, as far as I'm not an expert on grass, but one thing, do you mind doing small changes to this model for funsies?
Um, you're making. Yeah, sure, you
Yeah,
can
I
mention
do.
them, but you're already making grass. I.
Yeah, okay, oh, okay, you want me to make grass. Okay, never mind. Okay,
No, I
sorry.
don't want you to make grass. You want to make grass to learn
Yes,
Blender.
I know, I know.
So,
Anyway,
I mean, you're
so
gonna make grass to learn Blender. Fine. I'm gonna work on the car. I just, if you want
okay,
to give
that's
me, yeah,
good.
I
That's
mean,
good.
give me criticism. If you, what do you think to make this more
I
optimized? What
think
do you?
I think this grass. There's only one thing I would change with the grass, and that's that it grows wider the taller it gets, and I haven't seen any examples of that in the past. So I would make all 3 blades of grass slightly slimmer at the top. At the
Oh, you want me to make it more realistic?
Yeah, I
Okay,
suppose.
well, that's a
Yeah,
different
why
thing
not? I
altogether.
mean, why not?
Well, because I was trying to go with something a little bit more cartoony, and I felt the fact. I mean,
Nah,
something
it
like
looks
this.
strange. It doesn't really look cartoony, to be honest.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I have seen some plants that do this, so it does get there. But to be
Well,
honest, I just
yes,
don't have.
but
I don't want to make more space here. It grows out. It grows thick,
yeah, yeah.
and then
So
it.
what you should have done is you should have made the grass even thinner. at the top instead of making it thicker at the bottom.
I like the thick grass. That's the funny
Yeah,
part.
okay,
You know
well,
what I mean?
okay, no problem. Anyways,
Oh, but no,
so
no. I mean, I'm shrinking it. I'm shrinking it right now. I mean, I could have used like the other thing to shrink it, but there you go.
yeah, so
That's
I guess
really getting thin. See, but the only thing is because now it's not as thick. The other issue is that you have to have more of them. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
That becomes
you're
another
right.
issue.
You're right. There is no good solution to this. But yeah, okay. Well, that actually begins to look like grass. I wouldn't touch it anymore.
Well, I just think
So
it
the
looks
only
real.
other thing is we need to look at the number of triangles. So it turns out that grass that we look here is about as best as we can do for our high quality grass, or at least our close, not maybe the closest grass. I suppose we can get away with having slightly more detailed grass in the first 2-3 meters of a character or the camera. But that's the grass that we can maybe roll for maybe 10 or 15 meters maximum. And after that, if we're really careful about performance, we actually need to go with a
LOD
triangle
grass.
grass. Yeah, with LOD grass, with about that's what I would do. With go with about 2 or 3 triangles per grass. Just a simple grass as a triangle, and it will move in the wind because of the shader. Which,
That's true. Right, we have the
by the
shader from
way,
scatter.
we might decide to kill the shader for performance, or we might not. So, but anyways, we won't for now. We won't for now.
Well, I mean, I
Not for
don't.
the video.
Shader looks. Or
Um,
you know what I said before? Can't we have the shader just activated within a player detect? Like the player moves and then the graph.
yes, we can change the shader based on LOD, or
We could
hide
also do
the.
two. We could also do two grasses as well. That way, some of the grass is stagnant, some of the grass is moving, and it creates that effect as well. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I guess you're right. That's another way to do it. That said, I don't think actually that vertex shader is that expensive. So no, actually no. The vertex shader is cheap. No, we won't be moving the grass. Never mind.
okay.
Let's
Since
talk
since you're
about.
here, I got
Well,
one more thing. Okay,
yeah. Okay.
let's talk about trees really quick. Because this is the other thing killing me. I really gotta do better on
I'm
the
not.
texture. It's
I,
a
I
painted
was
texture.
I was wrong actually. The vertex shader is expensive because the grass is so small on the on the screen. So it's doing a lot of vertex shaders for very few pixels. And never mind. Anyways, so you want to
But I
ask
mean, you
something
designed
about
scatter to do that though.
no
Isn't there
scatter is just no scatter is just designed to scatter things around. It's not performance oriented. It's us who have to worry about performance.
I see. Okay. All right. Speaking of things, hey, yo, check out these trees. I don't know. Do I need to LOD this thing? Or is this thing just too much mess to
Unfortunately,
begin with?
yes, that's what we've discovered. If we go back for a second to my screen, I'll share it. I just want
Sure.
to show our viewers. So we got into a problem because we have about, I don't know, my gross estimate is at least 5,000 trees here. Turns out 5,000 trees are at about 300 or so vertices. That's about close to 1,000,000 vertices per tree for all the trees per frame. Turns out my graphics card doesn't like that. My graphics card actually likes maybe up to 30 to 60 million trees, RX 590. No, not trees. 30 to 60 million vertices. It doesn't like when you put a lot of even low poly trees in the scene, because it has to handle a lot of vertices if these are not properly LOD'd. So like I said, we have at least 100 triangles here. We have the green mesh, the green upper part of the tree, forgot what its name is about 100 triangles or more. And the lower part is also an X amount of triangles. So turns out the graphics card really doesn't like that because it has to go through 30 million vertices or however many triangles that is. It doesn't like that much triangles.
Now I want to give credit where credit's due. Were Kenny's assets better to load?
Well, yes, but honestly, they are simply too low poly. So,
well, here's the other thing. Do you think it'd be my texture, or no?
no,
I'm
no,
trying
no, no,
different.
no, no, no. The texture cost is on a per pixel basis. So if you have a lot of trees all the way up there, it's only a single pixel or two for the textures. So the texture cost is kind of constant. It's not. It can be. It is something that does decrease performance, but you get textures, you know, in return.
Okay. Because I noticed when I'm in Skyrim and I hit the camera, I free the camera and I zoom out. I notice the textures. They've got like an LOD version of textures.
So
Now, of course, my textures are 512 or no 144. They're ridiculously low.
One way to improve our LOD system is to have trees that are more than, you know, to do not have this highest level of trees, only them to have textures. And then if you are very far, like right now, then there is no need really to have textures on trees. You can have a single color because, I mean, look at it. It literally is a single color when
Right.
because
Okay, so
it gets mip mapped, and the mip map is, you know, this 2 pixels wide, so it is a single color. And mip mapping is making progressively smaller textures so that it's easier to choose which texture to use for the far away graphics. So
I think this is good. This is a solid update. Again, I'm sorry they haven't been posting all the stuff we've been recording. I do want to put more of that stuff out there when I get a chance to edit, but we're trying to get this out and trying to get this done. Hopefully within, I don't know, another 7 days or so. Less. Alex, do you have anything else you want to say? Mention?
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna show people just how many triangles we have right now, even with a low poly seed. So this is by any definition a low poly environment, except we went overboard and created about, I don't know, 5,000 trees in there. Well, turns out when you add a lot of low poly assets, you still get a high poly scene. And there is a relatively easy way to see that, and it's to go into the profiler and start profiling.
Now, didn't you mention that you needed a better profiler though?
Well, yeah, we do, but only for stuff that's internal to. I don't think we need we do so. We need a better profiler only for internal things, what the engine is doing, because that is hidden behind something called idle time here. And it's really actually pissing me off because you see our idle times are massive now. We have 5 frames per second and this 200 milliseconds. That's 5 frames per second or less, 4 frames per second. That's what we're achieving currently. And it's something, so something is being done. And actually, I know what it is right now. It's a combination of the fact that we are screen sharing through Zoom right now, and I am running the server and I am running the you know, game too. So that's killing my processor. Three very hard things on the processor are working at the same time. So that's why I only have 5 frames. But still, the point was that if you look at the profiler, so if we do this again, and we just ease a little bit of pressure on the graphics card and the CPU by changing the scene here because it keeps refreshing. And if we go here and then restart the restart the debugger, sorry, the profiler again, we should get a better frame time. You see, 60 milliseconds. So now it's getting. This isn't good. I don't like playing games that are under 70 minimum, like more like 100. So you can just feel it. So that's the frame. So the issue with the profiler is it doesn't tell me what part of the engine itself, the insides, are actually causing it to spend a lot of time working the CPU. It could be the physics engine, which doesn't happen in this case because we have very little physics. It could be, hey, it could be happening, who knows? It's almost certainly a combination of something in the rendering that's slow or whatever, or I'm doing something that I shouldn't be, you know, like having 5,000 trees or something. It's not really 5,000 trees, it's 10, 15 multi-meshes with 5,000 trees. So it's a lot less expensive on the CPU. But still, the point is the profiler isn't good enough because it's only telling me, it's only profiling what's happening in the GDScript code and a few other places. But I, as a developer, need to know what's happening in the game itself in order to give you, you know, the best performance that I can. So that said, that's what's wrong with the profiler. Let's now go back to the monitor's screen because this is going to tell us what we are drawing. So we are drawing 70 million vertices, which is, I don't know, 20 million triangles or more. Actually, no, here it's in Godot, it's you divide it by 3 or 6 and you get the actual number of triangles. So we're talking about 10 to 20 million triangles, and that's kind of killing the game because we're getting 20 frames per second. So even this small grass and these simple trees are completely killing my half decent PC. It's a medium PC, you know. It has it's a 4-core, 8 logical cores, Intel processor from about 2012, 2014. So, you know, it's a medium-sized PC. It's what you should be optimizing for or lower if you can manage it. And this isn't working. This isn't running very well on a medium-end RX 590 graphics card. So what needs to happen here is even for a low poly game, we have to implement a level of detail system. So in what way? Well, in 2 ways. First, the trees, they are very far away. They are extremely far away, and all these trees that are only 3 or 4 frames, 3 or 4 frames on the screen right now, pixels, sorry, not frames, 3 or 4 pixels on the screen, they're actually a full 100 triangles. So that isn't good for the graphics card. It doesn't need to do that many triangles, and it doesn't like to do them because it lowers performance. So what we need to do is almost all the trees that you see actually need to be LOD'd and need to be a lower poly. So how do I plan to achieve that? Quite simple. I plan to take, I think these are trees. Yes, so you see all those trees. So that's the high poly version of the mesh, of the multi-mesh using the brush mesh plugin. It's a really cool plugin for that runs on top of the multi-mesh node type. So all I really need to do is I need to copy these and then replace these meshes with a lower version, which I don't yet have. But when I do, I replace them, and then I prepare the simple. Script. I call it LOD script, and I will just. I can't. Okay, so yeah, so spatial, and then I add in an LOD script if I can find it now. So I think you'll be doing some editing here. So multi-mesh instance, UI. Where is that? Just give me a second. Okay, so that's found C.
I'm going to call the video right now. This is a good update. When we get further along, we'll put more stuff in there.
Sure. Okay, makes sense.
I think
So the idea is we have to do it for the trees. When we will give you an update in exactly how we did it in another video, and then we have to do the same, absolutely the same thing for all this magnificent grass that's also killing performance. So it turns out if you want this much grass, there's a massive cost that you have to pay in order to have that grass. So that ends this update, I guess.
Yeah, I am working on LOD trees right now. Decimate doesn't seem to be working, so I'm going to be trying to limit the triangles and make bigger LOD trees. Thanks, anyone who's actually seen this. I hope your games are going well. I've been hanging out with Kenny on the Kenny and Friends on the Kenny Discord. I'll put a link to that because it's a cool Discord if you ever want to talk to Kenny. It's much better than his Twitter. So I want to give a shout outs to. And see y'all in the next one. My green screen is failing. Bye.